Home Office liaison to the Diversity Commission, serving as a trainer and facilitator. For the past 14 years, Eugene has been a well-loved contributor to the Science of Mind magazine, inspiring lives all around the world. Eugene also co-hosts Race Talk with Lane and Eugene. His co-host, Lane Cobb, is an interfaith minister. Race Talk provides a platform for people from all races, cultures, lifestyles, and backgrounds to come together respectfully and talk about the many nuances of racism, to ask questions, to learn from each other's experiences, and share ideas about how we can individually and collectively make a difference. They are committed to engaging people in conversations that build up rather than tear down, and can inspire, educate, and motivate them to be the change they want to see in the world. That's so awesome, Eugene. Please join them on Wednesdays on Zoom, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. And I will put the website in the chat for anyone that may be interested in checking out this incredible, inspiring program. Eugene allows vision to guide him. It is prayer that fuels him. He is deeply committed to his purpose of joyfully assisting others and remembering who and what they truly are. Divine beings of light. Eugene believes that together we can reveal the kingdom of heaven right here on earth. And what is heaven? Heaven is ever-ending good. So welcome, Eugene. We are so very grateful you are here with us today, and we look so forward to soaking up your inspiring message today.
Jenny, thank you so very much. Thank you so much. Good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living Delaware. Good morning, all of the people in Facebook land and all of those who are watching it later and not now. It is so good to be back. It's so good to be back. What a vibrant, growing community, a loving community. And so, as was mentioned, the theme of the month is pause for guidance. Pause. Oh, that's my bell saying pause for guidance. And so one of the things that I always like to start off with is a couple of quotes from Dr. Holmes, two of the ones that he is most known for. And the first one is, there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. There is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we are a part of it, and we can use it. And then the other quote that Dr. Holmes is known for is, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is your life. That life is our lives now. There is only one life. Now, we can call that life anything we want. We can call it God. We can call it Allah. We can call it Krishna. We can call it whatever we want to call it. But as long as we call it forth into our conscious awareness, then can we use it from a place of clarity. And here's the thing, even if we're not aware of it, it still is. In the Tao Te Ching, the very first chapter says that the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. So whatever name we put on it, it doesn't matter. What we want to do is we want to call it forth into our conscious awareness. So this is why it's important to pause for the guidance. So in this month, this theme this is the 5th week. So I want to just talk about the first 4 just for a moment. So in this theme of pausing for guidance, we had time for a tune-up. Dr. Holmes writes in one of the quotations for that week is, whatever you identify yourself with, you will become like. Whatever you resist until you make it a reality, you will also become like. Right? So we want to, take the time to really tap into what's going on in our lives and being aware of what we're paying attention to. And so when we find that we might be paying attention to something that we don't like, because here's the thing, right? What we focus on, we will experience. What we focus on, we get. What we believe, we will receive. So we want to start to take the time to tune up our thinking, take the time to tune up what's going through our consciousness, right? I think it's Samuel L. Jackson's commercial is, what's in your wallet? I want to say, what's in your consciousness, right? Because we want to be aware of what's going on around us, because whatever is going on around us is really coming from what's going on within us. But see, we don't want to have to make this, or we don't need to make this a serious thing, which takes us to week 2. A playful pause. Got to have a playful pause. I love being a musician. I love being a musician because when musicians get together, we say, hey, you want to go play? Now, of course, we mean we want to play music, but when I look at it, it's like, oh, let's go play. Let's go play. Dr. Holmes' quote for that week, one of the quotes was, you exist that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. You need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. Be yourself and express life as you find it. There is a quote, and I can't remember who it's from, but I love it. It is, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Right? Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. And, I love being who I am. And here's the thing. I can't be anybody else but myself. Now, here's the thing, my beautiful friends, my brothers and sisters, I have tried, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. There might be one other person out there who has tried to be someone else or tried to do what others wanted me to do. So taking a playful pause means not taking it so serious. I think, and I love to read. I'm always researching stuff. And the Bible has been reinterpreted a few times, and also by me. For example, it is written that in the beginning, God said, let there be light. I think it went, and in the beginning, God said, lighten up. Because it's not that serious. We want to take a playful pause because when we really look at life, life provides everything for us every single moment of the day. I have proof. Watch this. Take a breath. You didn't provide that breath. I didn't provide the breath. Nobody else provided that breath except for life. So when we start to look at this thing in a beautiful, playful way, and then we start to open up because the energy begins to rise up. And I love that there's this beautiful, huge soul in a small body watching right now on the screen of Nicole Cunningham, because as a child, we get to experience life in a way that is just amazing. Just amazing. And yes, things go on. But what I love about that childlike energy is that it's always right now. I remember years ago when my firstborn daughter when Lauren was, I only have one daughter and 3 boys. So my firstborn child was 4 or 5 years old, and we're at the playground. And I heard this mother say to her child, who is about 4 or 5, right? Okay, we have 5 more minutes left. And it dawned on me that a child has no clue what that means. Not at that age, 3, 4, 5. All they know is that it's right now. 5 minutes, what's that? Right? So when we come to that playful pause, we want to be in the moment, because life happens in the moment, and make it joy-filled. It was earlier stated this morning that we are not to be dragged into what's going on. We are not to ignore what's happening. There's stuff that's going on, right? There's we have the Delta virus of COVID-19. We have stuff happening in Afghanistan. We have stuff happening right here. Now, I'm not saying, and nor am I trying to suggest that we ignore that to have a playful pause. I'm not saying that we are, to not, see what's going on. But what we want to do is, what I like to say is not to be sucked in by the weapons of mass distraction. Let's not get distracted from who we are, because who we truly are is that divine instrument through which the divine can live, move, and have its being. Remember, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is your life now. What that means is that we are to really tap into that and embody that in such a way where we get to look at all of the stuff that's going on in the world and know something higher is happening. To know that something greater is emerging, knowing that something is growing out of the seeming darkness, right? Because here's the thing about the darkness. A seed needs the darkness in order for it to grow. If it weren't for the darkness, we couldn't see the stars. But we want to take a playful pause to make it light so that we can open up that heart space. Oh, and then week three was talking about sparking imagination. Oh my goodness. I love imagination, right? Because everything that you can lay your eyes on, someone imagined it. The chair you're sitting on was in the realm of the invisible first. It was in the realm of the imagination first. Dr. Holmes writes, creation is the play of life upon itself through divine. What happened? Through the divine. Yeah, creation is the play of life upon itself through divine expression. You are that divine expression. Speaking about the imagination, you hear it said that we are created in the spiritual image and after the likeness of God. That's how it's written, right? Let's make them in the likeness. Yes, there we go. In the spiritual likeness, in the nature of God. But when I look at that, in the image and likeness, in the image and likeness, in the image, in the image. So this divine thing that we call God or whatever works for you, imagined itself as you, imagined itself into being as you. You are the imagination of God made manifest. How cool is that? When we start to really tap into that, and then we get to let go of all fear. We get to let go of all thoughts of doubt. We get to let go of all thoughts of worry. Why? Because that divine intelligence that we call God or whatever works for you imagined itself as you. One of the things I like to say in my prayer is that God so loved the world that it recreated itself, turned upon itself, and then named itself you. So that divine intelligence can experience itself as you on this beautiful spiritual plane called Earth. We want to pause for guidance. We want to spark the imagination. I want to talk a little bit more about that because we create from our imagination. Neville Goddard talks about that. Our imagination is God within us. Albert Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So imagine what it would be like to live in a realm where it's heaven on earth. Now, heaven is not something that we go to after this body temple transitions, as it's written in scripture again, right? Heaven is at hand, meaning that it's right now, and it's a level of consciousness. It's a level of consciousness. So when you want to experience something in your life, imagine it. Imagine yourself being in it. Imagine yourself, that it is done. Imagine that whatever it is that you want to experience, you are experiencing, not going to experience it, but you are experiencing it in this moment. Spark that imagination. Spark that imagination. And then we go to week 4, GPS, your guidance positioning system. I like to call it the God positioning system. Where am I in position with the divine, right? So let me open up myself to allow the divine to guide me. Dr. Holmes writes in this one, the law of correspondence works from the belief to the thing. That's important, right? Going back to the imagination, right? So when we connect these two, the law of correspondence works from the belief to the thing. If we believe we shall have only a little good will come into our experience. Again, it is done unto us as we believe. So when we imagine something that we want to experience, imagine it as fully complete as you can. And then don't take a little thimble to the ocean, bring a dump truck, right? Imagine big. Imagine big. If you're going to fail, then fail big. Why not? Why not? And here's the thing about failure. There really isn't any failure. It's only a way that we found out that didn't work. And we've heard the story. Mr. Edison, now the numbers, fluctuate. Mr. Edison, you failed, 900 times on trying to make the light bulb work. And Mr. Edison said, no, I found 900 ways of how it didn't work. There is no failure. Again, going back to being a child, what I love, again, one of the other things I love about being a child or childlike is there are no mistakes. Or if there are, it's like, okay, do over. I wasn't ready. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I wasn't ready. Do over. And if we make a mistake, it's okay. It's a mistake. So then take 2. Take 3, however many times, right? If at first you don't succeed, try, keep going, keep doing, just keep going, just keep doing. And as we continue to do that, tapping into the God positioning system, tapping into the guidance positioning system, we find that as we continue to move from a place of knowing that it is done, thank you, Spirit, and then also from a place of gratitude, knowing that it is done, we can only receive, we can only experience what we have declared. In the science of mind philosophy, there is this beautiful spiritual tool, this technology that's called affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment. And the way that it's taught in 5 steps, right? Recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. Well, Dr. Holmes, in one of the books, Essential Earnest, in chapter 2, in fact, talks about the 4 elements of an effective prayer, not steps, 4 elements. The first, of course, is recognition. Recognizing that there is this divine, recognizing that there is this infinite intelligence that, from which all things are created, recognizing that all there is God. And then step number 2, he says that in this particular book, it's identification, to identify with what we've recognized. Right. So sometimes on my Zoom calls, how these days people will put their name and then in parentheses, they identify as he or her or she or them. Well, I started putting, so I'm identifying with divine. So I have my name and then in parentheses, divine or magnificent. Right. So let's identify with what we want to with what we recognize. We want to recognize, yes, that God is all there is, and we want to identify and unify with that is that I call God is within me. Not only does it surround me, but it is at the very center of our being. It is that which beats our heart. Then the third element is declare. Now, in the third step in the science of, in the spiritual mind treatment is realization, and all of that is good, right? But I love it's declaration, right? So we recognize, we identify with, and then from that space we get to declare. So you imagine what you want to experience. Now is the time to declare that it is so. Declare that it is so, because the law of correspondence works from the belief to the thing. So as I declare it, now let me accept it, right? As I declare, the fourth element is acceptance. Let me accept what this is. So in order for us to do that, we want to stop to smell the roses. We want to take time to be guided. And then we come to this week. Rise and re-emerge. Rise and re-emerge. One of the definitions for emerge is to become apparent, important, or prominent, to become known. So as we have taken this month to tap into the guidance, as we have taken this month to pause for guidance, as we tap into that space within us that knows that there is only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. Now we get to re-emerge, because now we are re-emerging from a place of knowing that we are not only guided and directed, but we are supported in everything that we do. In this week, Dr. Holm writes, there is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. There is something within you that is wanting to be brought forth. There is a song that's wanting to be sung. There is a piece of artwork that's wanting to be brought out. There is joy, there is laughter, there is beauty that is wanting to be emerged through you. Oh yeah, so now's the time that we get to rise and re-emerge. Now is the time that we get to rise and shine our light, because the world needs us now more than ever before. You heard me talk about all of the things that are going on. Now is the time for us to rise. Man, what a wonderful opportunity that we have here to really stand in what we say that we know, to stand in this thing called unconditional love, to stand knowing that when you see me, or when someone sees you, they see the presence of love that has sent you. And when you shine your light, as Marianne Williamson reminds us, when you shine your light, you give permission to others to shine theirs. So rise and reemerge. Today is the day, and we are the ones. Let's pray. Oh yeah, how good it is to be awake, aware, and alive in this moment. Because in this moment, I know that life is fully lived. In this moment, there is nothing needed. In this moment, all needs are taken care of. All needs are met. In this moment, God is. And so I speak this word from a place of gratitude, recognizing that there is only one power, there is only one presence, there is only one life, and I call that God. Yes, I know that it is known by different names. Sometimes it is called God, sometimes it's called Yahweh, sometimes it's called Krishna, sometimes it's called Olodumare. But whatever we call it forth into our conscious awareness, recognizing that not only does it surround everything, but it is at the very center of all of life. See, I recognize that this which I call God is the cause of everything being. God is the cause of the sun being bright. God is the cause of the moon glowing and the stars sparkling. God is that which is the cause of the oceans waving. That same intelligence that causes the wind to blow is that same intelligence that breathes our breath. That same intelligence that causes the earth to spin on its axis over 1,000 miles per hour is that same intelligence that animates the body temple and allows us to experience stillness. Oh yeah, there's only one life here. And so as I recognize and acknowledge that God is everywhere present at all times, I know that at all times, God is present right where we are. And so it is from my awareness of our oneness in God that I speak this word on behalf of everybody tuning in today and everybody who is in the sound of my voice. I declare that life is abundantly good right here and right now. I declare that divine health, wholeness, and well-being is the order of this word. I declare that all needs are met from a place of ease and grace because we now surrender to the abundance of the universe, knowing that there is nothing that can stop this word or keep this word from being made manifest. Even now, I know that it is done. And so knowing that it is done, I just give great thanks. I am so grateful. I am so very grateful. I feel good about this word spoken. And so knowing that this is already done, I just release it. I take my hands off of it. And now I release my word into the beautiful and dynamic activity of love and law. You see, as this word is released into the law has no choice. It cannot help itself. It must take these words and mold them and blend them and mend them and shape them and then send them back to us, not void, but absolutely and completely fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we not only rejoice in it, we accept that it is done with grateful and thankful expectancy. We know that it is complete. And so complete, we now allow it to be. So we just allowing it to be so, we let it be. And so it is. Ashe, amen. Breathe that in. And I return this to Sharon.
Thank you so much. Wow.